Anyway, let's find out if we got some advice on what happens if your relationship is heading towards recession, i.e. is all disaster. Paul Britton is a leading criminal defence lawyer at Britton and Time Solicitors, joins me now. Paul, very good afternoon to you.
James, hello, how are you?
I'm very well indeed, thank you. My relationship here at Talk seems to be improved on the basis that, whether we're just going back for good old times or I'm here for good, who only knows? But relationships can be fixed, Paul.
This is a promotion for you, isn't it, James, on the big drive home from
it's an aspirational promotion for me, yes.
All right, look, so what are we talking about? We're talking about relationships at Christmas. These are really trying times, and I have to say, as a firm of solicitors, we see such an influx of divorce inquiries in January and February. And right now, divorce lawyers up and down the country will be getting ready for the post-New Year celebrations. And what it is, it's just that you're put into a close space. It's a bit like COVID. COVID was also great for family lawyers, because when you put people together, then you kind of realise whether you do or you don't like them.
I mean, I don't want to be rude here, but you lawyers just rub your hands with glee at the prospect of somebody else's misfortune. You take massive fees, you put wedges in relationships that don't need to be put. You fight for this, fight for that, get for everything you can, hire people. You just make it all worse, you lot.
No, we don't, James. I mean, you have to remember that what happens in the process of divorce will stay with our clients for the rest of their life. And the more that they can get in terms of a financial settlement that's fair, the better that their prospects are going to be. I mean, we all know the traditional setup that you've got husband and wife. Maybe the husband goes out, has a fabulous career, earns a six-figure salary, and the wife stays at home, raises a family, and she sacrifices her career. Then later on in the relationship, they decide to split up. It's not fair that she goes back into the job market on £20,000 a year or £30,000 a year when he's been able to promote his salary right up to £150,000 in some cases and has a fabulous pension. So what divorce lawyers tend to do is try to make sure that it is fair, and the courts will look at what resources are available and then decide how they're going to split them.
I have to say that that was actually a very good point, Paul. So thank you for that. So
it works both ways. These days, sometimes
but let me ask you. So for the people who find that for whatever reason their relationship is in trouble over Christmas, of course, the advice to try and help put things back together, sometimes that can work. But what would you say to somebody who there is a massive bust up that they just decide that this is it? Is it go and speak to your lawyers as soon as Christmas is done?
Yeah, well, look, you don't have to go down a contentious route. There is what we call collaborative law, where you have one divorce, one lawyer. We don't tend to take on that sort of work. We find that it doesn't really work. It's all fine trying to agree it until we start valuing pensions and spousal maintenance and who's going to have the children, and we get child contact and all that sort of stuff involved. But there is a collaborative way of doing it. It doesn't tend to blow up like you've said. It tends to be, this is now the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 10th Christmas together. In-laws are coming over, and a lot of people say, this is the last year. I just can't bear to do this again.
And I suppose if that is the case, you do need to. I mean, do you suggest that people go and get advice away from a legal team to talk about, somebody's own position? Because I suppose, within a marriage, you might have family considerations. There's all sorts of ramifications of your decisions. Having said that, there's only one person to look after you, and that's you. Do you suggest that people go off and perhaps receive advice on that front before they go down the legal route? Or do you just say, look, if you made your decision, off we go, ka-ching, ka-ching, let's rack and stack those lovely lawyers' bills?
Everybody's going to be in a different boat. And if they feel that marriage counselling or some sort of counselling is going to help save their relationship and there is still a spark there, then absolutely. One of the questions I normally ask my clients if I'm dealing with a divorce inquiry is it done? Are you done? Has the switch flipped over? Is that it now? Because once you start this process, it's only going to get worse and you're going to see the other side's true colours. So it's got to be all for nothing.
Yeah, I guess that is the point. Paul Britton, leading criminal defence lawyer at Britton and Time Solicitors. Thank you very much indeed for joining us, giving us that sunny upland look as to what happens if your relationship's gone south. And perhaps you do find after Christmas. I mean, it is that time of year. We have, Divorce Monday in January when people just say, can't take it anymore. Well, hopefully there's good advice for you out there, if that is the case. Meanwhile, coming to your comments, Glyn says, James, just letting you know you're missed in the morning. Well, thank you, Glyn. In answer to your question, however, why is the economy struggling? It's simple. Labour is in charge, says Chris in Redditch. So there we go. 03, and somebody here's just said hello. Well, hi. If you want to get in touch, it's really helpful, that. If you want to get in touch, you can do so. You can send me a text on 87222. Start your text with the word talk. You can always send me an X message on @TalkTV, and you can give me a call. We'll be taking more of your calls on the economy and indeed anything else we've been discussing on 0344 499 1000. Still to come on Drive on Talk, we'll be turning our attention to those big political stories. I'm delighted to say I'm going to be joined by James Heal. He is the political editor and correspondent at the Spectator. We'll be talking to him about those big stories, whether it's Labour's frustration, Yvette Cooper, or indeed Lord Mandelson. Yeah, don't forget him going over to the US. And, of course, gerrymander... Oh, no, it's not gerrymandering at all, giving the right of voting to 16 and 17-year-olds. No, it's just good sense. Yeah. That absolutely makes sense to me. Oh, and the Archbishop of York, that story too. All of those stories, plus more of your calls, that's all coming up on Drive Time on Talk. Oh, the number, it's 0344 499 1000. I'm James Max.